Hi, my name is Polly Romine, and I am going to walk you through how to apply for your state-funded grant on the Utah Grant Management System. So we're going to start at the login page. These instructions are in your packet instructions that are accessible through the grant solicitations page. So if you need this URL, that information should be in there for you. Or if you've had a grant with us, this should look familiar. So I'm going to log in. You can see that it will take us to the home page. If you've applied for a grant with our office before, you'll recognize that there used to only be 3 boxes here. There is now a box for state funding. I'm going to click that box. We'll see a list here of grants that are state funded. If you're applying for state funding, then you should recognize your agency in this list. I'm going to hit state funding grants, click here to apply. And the system has just created a new application for me. You can see that the status application is new. The program dates might be a little bit off in this example due to we still have to set up the program. So anyway, we're working on some date issues still in the system. I am going to start in the applicant info. I'm going to click that blue box. If I am a previous applicant, hopefully these boxes will generate for you. If not, please fill them out. They all are important. We do want all of this information, so make sure that you fill out this information for us. It is important for you to probably see that there are some little pop-up boxes that might help you if you have a question on how to fill out some information. Project short title should be agency name, the grant, and the years. So I will give you an example in a minute, and there's also a written example in the instructions. The year again is off a little tiny bit. We're going to put something like UOVC state funding victim services 2024 through 2025 in this project short title. I'm going to put 2 short sentences here. Ooh, and it's going to help me spell correctly. That will be good. Again, there's a little pop-up that's going to help us. The project period start date is June 30, 2024. I can use the calendar to do that, or I can type it in. The project period end date is July. Oh, I got that backwards. Project period start date is July 1st. These dates are in your instructions. I apologize. Project period start date, July 1st, 2024. Project period end date is June 30th, 2025. Again, those dates are in your instructions, and I know it's confusing now that I just screwed that up and the system is off. But again, July 1st, 2024 to June 30, 2025. This is a 1-year grant for everyone. This is a 1-year grant to get us to 1 more year until we are on the same cycle as the federal system. In county served, I'm going to select my county. If you are a statewide agency like we are, I'm going to click statewide so that it is highlighted. I'm going to use this little arrow right here to click that over to chosen. And then these boxes populate themselves. I'm going to hit save. We're going to notice that applicant info turned from blue to green. And I also have a little notification that popped up that said basically that it had been updated successfully. In the files section, you're going to attach all the required files for your grant. And all of the different state funding grants have different required files to be attached. So please use the instructions for you to know which files need to be attached. So I'm just going to pretend and attach a file just so you can see what that's like. I hit add file. I'm going to upload my file from wherever I've had it. I'm going to have it in a safe spot where I've been working to get everything ready for my grant. I'm going to hit done, and you can see that that has added, and there is a pop-up, green pop-up that there was success, and you can see that that has been added. So again, check your instructions for all the different files that you need to attach. And then to apply, to finish applying, we have to do our budget. So I'm going to show you that if I try to submit without entering a budget, it's going to give me an error and says I must enter a budget for year one. So we're sort of happy for that. So it won't let you accidentally apply without saying, hey, here's how much money I need. So that's nice. And this error doesn't automatically go away. You might have to click it. So I'm going to choose year one. You can see that both years are available. We're hoping that when we actually set up the program in the next day, that it will only show year one. But if it shows you both years, please only do year one. Do not waste your time and put in year two. This is a 1-year grant. So you can see that it opened up a box showing all zeros in my current budget. It is worth mentioning that in the budget, it does mention federal. We know that this is a state-funded grant. The lift that it takes to get us to be able to change the wording from federal to state was pretty hefty for our system admins, cost and time. And so we did not choose to go the route of changing federal to state. Also, you'll see that there are still match in the budget. Please ignore any match fields. You will not be doing any match on this grant. Same with indirect. No indirect will be entered into this state funds budget. So please ignore any fields that say match or indirect. Again, we could not take those out due to the time, the money, and the effort that it would have taken for our agency and we call them DTS, but our people, program administrators. Anyway. Okay, so to enter information into the budget, you're going to see that there's a couple boxes. There's an eyeball and there's a plus sign. I'm going to choose the plus sign. And it's worth mentioning right now that before I do the budget, I'm going to have my Excel state funds budget and budget justification ledger filled out and correct before I get to enter information into the system. This budget ledger is going to help us fill out the system. Okay, so I've hit the plus sign on personnel. We'll do personnel first just because he's at the top. You're going to see that a little details box opened up at the bottom. I have the option to edit with the green pencil or the option to delete. If you accidentally open up a field, please delete it if you do not need it, if it is going to stay 0. you can see that I can add another box down here. He pops back out. So I'm going to enter in to edit by using the green pencil. Okay, so I'm in personnel. We have changed the way that we have done the budget ledger. Hopefully, it will be easy in the long run. Right now, it seems confusing and overwhelming because it's new, but in the long run, we are moving towards making it easier for you, easier for us. So we have combined personnel and fringe. We have also combined travel and training. So you can see on your budget ledger, it still looks the same as it used to. You'll enter this information separately for each position line. UOVC funds positions, not people. So for each position, you'll enter your information in your budget separately, like it is here, or talk to your grant analyst. However, you guys usually enter your budget information in. So fill out your budget ledger first. There are instructions on the difference between total agency salary and state funded salary, and same with total agency fringe and state funded fringe. You'll find those instructions somewhere else. There's a difference. Those differences matter as far as the percents go. That's a different training. But anyway, you'll see that once all of this information is entered, we have totals. So we have a total personnel and fringe at the bottom, and then that amount also is combined in personnel and fringe. I'm going to use that total amount to enter information in to the grant management system. So I'm back in the grant management system. I'm going to write something like total personnel and fringe. I'm going to ignore title. I'm not going to enter anything in title. I'm going to leave the funding sources federal. We're pretending it says state. I'm going to enter the same total in grant match yearly salary. Again, we apologize that it says match, but I'm going to enter the total for personnel and fringe from my budget and budget justification ledger into grant yearly salary. I am not going to be entering anything into total yearly salary. I'm going to ignore this field, and then I'm going to save. Okie doke. I am going to show you that some of the other budget categories have a little bit of a difference as well. Let's choose supplies. Also, I just wanted to show you, these are the instructions. So use your instructions on how to enter information into the grant management system. We tried to do step by step. This information is exactly what is happening over here as well. So please use that as a resource. Okay, I'm going to go to supplies and get my little enter or my little pencil to enter in here. I'm going to enter total supplies instead of each separate supply. And I'm going to do that because on my budget ledger, we've been billing, if you've been with us in the last year, we've been billing just the supply total. So at the beginning of the year right now, this is where I'm going to list out everything that I want the grant to pay for. All the pencils, papers, pens, ink, whatever else would go in the supply category, I will list here and justify and explain it. And then I will put the total dollar amount right here. Instead of listing out every single line item, 15 pencils, 87 cents, 3 reams of paper, $40. We're not doing that anymore. Everything is combined into one sort of summary at the beginning of the year where it's justified and explained. And then in the rest of the year, when you bill, you'll bill a total. It all comes from your supply sort of bucket or supply total. So as we're setting up the grant, I know it feels a little weird and funny to not do line by line pencils, paper. So it's all combined to mirror your budget, uh, your Excel budget. I hope that that makes sense. Okay, so my supply total was 1,600. That amount includes all of the different supplies that I have just listed. I'm going to put unit price 1,600 to match my ledger. Quantity 1, because there's only one quantity of 1,600 or whatever your dollar amount is. We're going to hit save. Again, the source is federal. And then let's also quickly talk about travel and training. Travel, you will not enter anything into travel. You will also not enter anything into fringe because fringe has gone up to be with personnel, and travel is going to go down and be with training. So on your budget ledger, same with personnel and fringe, travel training is all together in one category. So there are other instructions on how to explain and justify the travel and training. All those details will go in here on your budget and budget justification ledger. Who's going, where you're going, why you're going, all the miles, all the per diem, all the hotels, all the registration, everything will go in this box right here. It's not going to go in the GMS system on separate lines. It's going to go in one box. So we're pretending that I have $2,600 of travel and training. And this is all travel training together. This is victim service travel training. This is training travel. So all of that can go in one dollar amount, in one bucket, one box. But again, you will list and justify that one time in your budget and budget justification ledger. So when I get in here, I'm going to make myself a little training details box. I'm going to edit the details name. I'm going to put in something like total travel and training. I'm going to ignore grant positions attending. I'm going to put everything for travel and training into registration. So that total amount, that pretending I have $2,600 in travel and training combined, I'm going to put that amount in registration. I'm ignoring per diem. I'm ignoring number of days. I'm ignoring number of rooms. I'm ignoring hotel rate. I'm going to put 1 in number of staff because that is the number that needs the 26 to like stick in the system and present that number in the system. So the source is federal. I'm going to hit save. Okay, so we can see that when I've been adding dollar amounts in here, they've been adding into this big main overall budget box. Again, these numbers should match your budget and budget justification ledger. You can check up here at the top, personnel and fringe, 69, supplies, 1,600. You can go across and check this way, and then you also can go down and check each individual box as well. 69, supplies 1,600, travel and training 26. So make sure the system matches your budget and budget justification ledger. Okay, I spent a little bit more time on that and I was a little bit more detailed because it's a new way that we're entering stuff into the system. Once my budget for year one is entered, again, I am not going to enter year two budget. There's no year two budget on this grant. I have attached all the files that I need to attach. My budget is ready. I am ready to hit submit, and hopefully this feels like one of the easiest grants you've ever applied for with UOVC, because we're hoping that was the goal. We're hoping that it feels that way. So now that I've entered a budget, you'll see when I hit the submit button, it's actually going to let me submit, and the application was successfully submitted. There's a couple of ways to know that your application has been submitted. Technically, you should get an email from the system. Also, application status is going to say submitted. You can also check by going to My Applications and the list of your grants. This is the brand new grant that I just submitted today, and you can see that it says submitted. Now, this is a good example of why the project title is important, why we need to know the years, the agency, and basically the type of grant, because you can see even on this little test account, I've got all these grants. And if I'm trying to find a grant that doesn't have a good project title, then I have to click into all of these separate grants. I have more than one that says submitted. I have more than one that says new. If you've been a subgrantee with UOVC for a while, you will have a list of grants. If you're going back to try to find your grant, you might need to hit view all, and your list will populate. Oh, this application successfully submitted warning is still there. So that's kind of nice too, to help you know that the application was submitted. Of course, with state grants, it's a little bit different than applying for federal grants. You can reach out to your grant analyst, Melissa Wayment, Shannon Arrington, Polly Romine. Also, if you need help logging into the system, please let us know as well. And I believe that that is everything that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned to you regarding applying for your state-funded grant in the system. All right, good luck. Let us know if you need help.